I'll give you mine. I did a paper.
Bill at 7:30.
How you doing, Mr. President?
Morning.
Good to see you.
Hi, buddy.
Thank you.
God bless you. How are you?
Coach.
Doing fine. Governor, how you doing? Sean, good to see you, sir.
Yeah.
PD, how are you, buddy?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Senator?
Keep it open up.
We're working on it.
What's that? Good morning. My name is Cecil B. Lucy, the interim president at Chicago State University. On behalf of our students, our faculty, our staff of Chicago State University, I would like to welcome the Honorable Governor Bruce Rauner, Governor of the State of Illinois, to Chicago State University. Today's event is being held in CSU's Art Gallery. This is a place where we highlight our student and community artists on a monthly basis. Today marks an important milestone in the history of Chicago State University as we continue the mission of CSU with a focus on student success. As we approach our 150th anniversary on September 2nd, 2017, we look to be resourced financially and with the human capital and talents to set the foundation for the next 150 years. I would like to thank Governor Rauner for his commitment to the success of our students and Chicago State University. I would also like to thank our legislature and our legislators and all of CSU supporters. Please join me in welcoming Governor Bruce Rauner. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Good morning, everybody. This is a very good day for the students and the faculty of Chicago State University, and it's a very good day for the people of Chicago and the state of Illinois. Nothing that we do together as a community is more important than education. Education is the single most important thing we do together. And this institution, Chicago State University, is one of the most important institutions of higher education in the state of Illinois. Its success is critical to Chicago's success, Illinois' success, and the success of all the people of our great state. We need this institution to thrive and be highly successful. As we're all discussed in the past, Chicago State has had challenges, some difficulties from various sources for different reasons, management challenges, financial challenges, and the educational outcomes have not always been what they could be or should be for our students. We need to improve the system. We need to change it and make it better. That's what today is all about. I'd like to thank Interim President for his leadership, for stepping in at a challenging time. I'd like to thank the existing board members who have come through this challenging time together, especially my friend Reverend Hatch, but all the board members who've served the institution as trustees. And I am particularly excited and grateful that our new board members have been willing to step forward and serve in these challenging, difficult circumstances. And I would like to thank each and every one of them. Thank you to a longtime friend of mine, Paul Vallas, for joining the Board of Trustees. I'd like to thank Kam Buckner. I'd like to thank Nicholas Gowen. I'd like to thank Tiffany Harper for stepping forward and serving, giving their time, their wisdom, their support to this wonderful institution. We need to do more than just help the Board of Trustees. We need to bring resources, we need to bring advice, we need to bring counsel, bring all the support we can to help this institution succeed and their students realize their fullest potential. Today, we're gathered because we are announcing the creation of an advisory council to support the Board of Trustees and to support the faculty and the administration, developing strategic plans, bringing advice, support, resources, bringing more of the community together to help this institution thrive and realize its fullest potential. This advisory council will not have management authority. It will not have decision-making authority, but it will have the ability to bring advice, counsel, and resources and support. And we are honored to announce the initial composition of this advisory council, and we hope over time to expand the council and bring resources to help Chicago State thrive. On the initial membership of the advisory council, we have Jim Reynolds, strong community leader, business leader, community leader, advocate, big believer in Chicago State University. We also have, Sam Scott, former CEO of Corn Products. We have Walter Massey. Walter and I have been friends for, 25 years. Terrific leader, community leader, terrific educator. He and I served together on the board of IMSA, the Illinois Math and Science Academy, but I also knew him when he was Morehouse College president. In fact, my wife and I contributed there, in part because of his leadership at Morehouse College. We worked together for years. We have Tony Anderson here with us today. Tony has been a business leader. Tony and I have been friends and have worked together for many years. He's one of the most important leaders in the business community in the state of Illinois, and a great community leader, community advocate. We have Kish Kameni coming on the board. He's a A.T. Kearney consultant. We have Oliver Wyman Consulting joining to work pro bono to bring consulting services to Chicago State University. We also have the Civic Consulting Alliance being part of the advisory council to bring pro bono consulting services to help develop a strategic plan, to map out options for bringing resources and talent to the institution to help it, again, help Chicago State realize its fullest potential. This is an exciting time. It's a challenging time, but we'll come through this together to make Chicago State a wonderful institution, helping our students realize their fullest potential. Very honored that Paul Vallas joined the board. I have great fondness and respect for him. We've worked together since his days at CPS. The Board of Trustees will elect their own chairman. I have recommended to the board that my recommendation would be that they would vote to select Paul Vallas to be chairman, but that's their prerogative. They may choose that. They may choose something else, but that's their call. I'll turn the microphone over to Paul to talk a little bit further about this process.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Governor. Well, first of all, thank you so much for the invitation to be a part of this team. Our objective here is to not only preserve Chicago State, but to help transform it into the dynamic university that the community needs. Universities are economic development engines, and there's absolutely no reason why Chicago State cannot be one. There's a huge market for the type of educational services that Chicago State is and can offer, and we plan on taking full advantage of that. I'm just one of a number of new Board of Trustees. What role I play with that Board of Trustees will be determined by the Board of Trustees, but I look forward to working with the existing board members as well as the new board members, as well as with the advisory team with Tony Anderson and with the leadership team here at Chicago State. Somebody told me, I think Reverend Hatch told me yesterday, that on September 2nd, it's the 150th anniversary of Chicago State. I invite you all to go to Wikipedia and Google Chicago State and look at its long and in many ways very prestigious history. Wouldn't it be great if by September 2nd we were in the process of implementing a long-term strategic plan to really take Chicago State to the next level. So I remember the day after the campaign, I called the governor that morning and congratulated him and wished him well and told him that if he ever needed any help, not to hesitate to call me. And, of course, he's called, and I'm really excited about the opportunity he's presented to me. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the existing president of the Board of Trustees. I've had a long-time relationship with Reverend Hatch from our days in the Chicago Public Schools. His leadership, the faith-based councils, our faith-based initiatives, anti-violence initiatives, he always played a leadership role, and I look forward to getting reacquainted with him and to working with him to advance the cause of transforming the university and moving it forward. Reverend Hatch?
All right. Thank you, Paul, and welcome back to the South Side. And we appreciate you taking on the responsibility of helping us to create a new day for Chicago State. I want to say this is the first time I heard there might be a new chairman. But I want to say this, that I was on this campus in 1975. My sister, who went on to have a 30-year career as a Chicago public school teacher, was a 1975 graduate from Chicago State University when we walked in the mud. And I want to say I was much younger, and I'll still be one of the younger people on the board with Paul with us. And the commencement speaker that day was the sitting president of the United States, Gerald R. Ford. This university has evolved over the years, and much of its history parallels the great migration of African Americans from south to north. And with that migration, this university has evolved. It is not a historically black college or university, but it is considered a predominantly black institution. And of course, our Hispanic population is growing along with all of the other immigrant groups that we've welcomed. I want to say that we look forward to moving forward. Even with our challenges, this institution still graduated more African-American males with four-year college degree than any other institution in the state system. We have some of the older students who are going back to school. This is their lifeline, their hope, their chance at the American dream. We still have many single parents who are trying to lift their families up with the bootstraps, and this institution is a part of the bootstrap lifting resource that they have. The reality is, without the resources, this university cannot do the job. And so we hope today means that there will be bipartisan support in Springfield for this institution that means so much to so many families who struggle to get their part of the American dream. This past commencement, had the privilege of riding in an elevator with strangers that I did not know. One, an elderly gentleman on a cane, and his shirt was almost busting with pride. He was slightly bent, looked like what must have been his youngest grandchild grabbing on to his coat leg. And he said, "This is the first college graduate that we have in our family." That's what Chicago State is, often the first generation college graduate in many of these struggling families. So this is not the time to contract Chicago State. This is not a time to shrink, but it's a time to expand. And I happen to live on the west side of Chicago. We need this same kind of access to a high quality education in a higher institution that is available and accessible. And so with that being said, we want to welcome the new board members. We want to also welcome those who are not here. I read the bios. I Googled the resumes of three fabulous young people, a couple of them younger than my oldest children. And I think it says something about what can happen in this new chapter, that when the young people that walk this campus can see what they can become. The community I come from, they say you cannot be what you cannot see. And so we want to welcome them as well and the fabulous contributions that they will make. At this time, I want to bring on a man who I've heard so much of, and he is also happens to be an alum of Chicago State University. and he is none other than Mr. Tony Anderson, who will work with us on the advisory board.
Thank you, Reverend. Good morning, everyone. I just have a couple things I really want to say. First, I want to thank the governor, and I want to thank him because I've known the governor for a long time, and we have a lot of things in common. One of the things we have in common that I really, really admire about this guy is his passion for education. And that passion, I think, is going to serve Chicago State extremely well. The other thing that I'd say is he recognizes just how important this institution is to our community, to the city, and to the state. And so for all those different things, I really want to say thank you to the governor for what he's done here and being so concerned about this institution. The second thing I want to say is to the new board members. One, congratulations, and thank you for all the things you're going to have to do to get this institution to where we want it to be. It's a large undertaking, a lot to do here, and I want to thank them for giving their time to do it. And then the last thing I want to talk about is this advisory council that we've put together. We have a great group of people. The governor has indicated who's going to be on it. He missed one person, though. Governor, you're slipping. The chancellor from UIC Chicago, Michael Amaritas, is also going to be part of this group, which is, I think, a really good combination of people who have experience in higher education, experience with African American institutions, and we're prepared to come and really support this board, support leadership, making sure we think through the right kind of strategy so this institution is as successful as we all want it to be. The other thing, Oliver Wyman, I really got to give them a shout out because this is a firm, consulting firm, a sizable one. They've come to the table and said, listen, we'll support this group and help it be, get all the resources it needs to help analyze all the different issues we need to analyze. And so I really want to thank them for stepping up on a pro bono basis to help this institution. So we have a lot to do, excited about doing it. And so with that, I will turn it back over to the governor and welcome to take any questions you might have. Governor.
Thanks, Tony. Before we open up to questions, and I would like to go deep on everything that you'd like to cover today, I want to say a special thank you to the legislators who are here today. Thank you for your dedication to education, to Chicago State, and to the communities here, the south side of Chicago and throughout the state of Illinois. Thank you. God bless you. I'm a big, big fan of all the legislators who are here and all the members of the Black Caucus who work so hard to make sure we have higher quality educational opportunities for every young person in the state of Illinois. And I consider myself blessed to be friends with them and to be supportive of a goal for more resources, more high-quality education options for everyone in every neighborhood and every community. And I appreciate your advocacy in this regard. There's so many people to thank. I do want to call out three individuals in particular. One is Reverend Hatch, who spoke earlier. He and I have worked on school choice and school quality options in CPS for years together. He is a tireless advocate for our communities here in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois, strong education advocate, and he was willing to step up when I asked him to come on the Chicago State Board early on and get involved here. And he's got huge demands on his time and has been a wonderful trustee. Next person I'd like to thank is Tony Anderson. Again, Tony voluntarily, proactively was recommending, as he and I were talking about, creating the advisory council. He's got huge demands on his time, but he helped bring the advisory council together and really drive the process. He's an outstanding leader, highly respected in the business community and the education community and throughout the community here in Chicago. Tony, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your passion for making Chicago State a great institution. We all deeply appreciate that. And then, I want to thank Paul Vallas. He's got a lot of projects going on around the country, but he and I have talked and worked together for years. I have huge respect for him. And I thank Paul. Paul proactively said, you know, I want to help make a difference here in Illinois and in Chicago. And I thank you, Paul, for stepping up. You've always tried to make a difference in our communities, and I deeply appreciate that and respect you for that work. With that, I'll open up to questions. Anybody? Yes?
Governor, in the interest of tying up some loose ends, could you explain what the official version is on the resignation, departure of President Calhoun? What happened?
Would anyone like to address that? I don't feel like I'm qualified to.
But do you have an understanding of what happened? And
You know-
what is your understanding?
I'll tell you, Charles, my view is that's in the past.
Oh, no. No one's ever explained what happened. I mean,
I don't know. And at this point, I want to focus on the future and doing positive things going forward.
can Reverend Hatch explain it when he was there during it? No, the public has never.
It's a time to
Can
move
we go
forward.
to the-
There'll be another time, I think, probably a more appropriate setting, if there's something that could be discussed, given the legal issues involved. But don't ruin the day
But
for Chicago State
taxpayer money
to have
spent.
a new beginning. And in fact, I just got on the board year before last. So you might need to talk to some other folks that might be able to talk or explain a little deeper and in greater detail that you want, because I can't give it to you. And really, I really wish that the narrative that goes out of here for all of the young people who are looking for opportunities in these communities that we've seen 752 homicides in last year. Let's think about what they need for right now, and what they need to know is that Chicago State is going to be here for them. It's going to thrive, and the leadership of this state has focused narrowly on this institution of being all it can be for the people who need it the most.
Governor, can you talk a little bit more about why you wanted an advisory council for Chicago State, and what specifically their role was going to be in terms of working with the Board of Trustees with the senior administration?
Well, again, we need to deal with the structure as it currently exists, and we can have it evolve in the future. That takes time. We had a certain number of board trustee slots available, but we have a lot of challenges, and we don't want to let months or years go by. We want to bring the maximum talent, the maximum impact to benefit Chicago State so they can thrive. And we don't have a day to lose. So we wanted to get good, insightful people who had a personal, deep connection to Chicago State, especially young people. I like getting young people who are up-and-comers, who are the future leaders, involved on boards like this, and we were able to do that. Plus, having a seasoned veteran, somebody like Paul Vallas, who I've known for years, and I just know he knows finance. He knows, he knows financial issues, structural operating turnarounds, and he knows education. That's not that many people have that combination of talent. And so talent and integrity, 100% focus. And this is not about partisanship. I say it every Sunday morning. The good Lord did not make us Democrats or Republicans. The good Lord put us on earth to do his work, help each other, make the world a better place. I believe that very strongly. We've had many Democrats put into positions of authority in our administration. I don't care about partisanship. I want results. All I care about is results. And so it's very, very straightforward. So we wanted to bring more resources, but we're capped in the Board of Trustees size. So we bring on very talented, led by Tony. Tony was a real driver. I give Tony credit for this. He loves Chicago State and cares deeply about the success of this institution. And he's one of my favorite people. I've known him for years. I have huge respect for Tony. Let's together figure this out. We got big challenges. This is going to take a lot of creativity and problem solving to move forward on this.
Governor, I wonder if you can identify some of the decisions past administrations at the school made that created such a challenging environment.
Well, again, I don't want to dwell on the negative. And if anyone else wants to weigh in, you're welcome to. I think I'd rather focus on the future. I think all of us in Chicago and Illinois have followed Chicago State to some degree or another. I've certainly followed it for years. It does wonderful work. It's such a beacon of hope and opportunity for students that otherwise don't have opportunity. Its success is really important. It's important to me personally, but also for the people of Illinois. But Chicago State has had mismanagement. They've had massive financial problems and financial mismanagement. Their educational outcomes have not always been what they could be or should be. These are kind of known, and I think it's time to really take it in a new direction and bring as much talent and integrity and creativity to the leadership here as we can.
Senator Trotter, you've been an outspoken critic of the governor. Are you amenable to these changes? Do you think this is something that's going to work?
Let me start with your last question about is it something that will work? I, along with my colleagues, are certainly hoping it will work. I mean, Chicago State, like many of the issues in this state, are multidimensional. Getting the leadership in place to implement some of the positive things that need to be done is one of those dimensions. So certainly, I look forward to working with this leadership. But, as an elected official, I'm just an agent of the community. And with that being said, and when we talk about what's good for the state of Illinois, that's in the subcontext of what's good for the people of the state of Illinois. And that is ensuring that we have quality education and those institutions to ensure that they're prepared.
Well, one follow-up. This institution has been criticized over the years for being a place where a significant degree of patronage has taken place, particularly on the part of politicians.
And without a doubt, once again, anything negative, usually it's our community that's the face of that negativity. Some of the things that's gone on at Chicago State certainly has happened at other institutions as well, and it's because the negative is played up and not the positive that this university represents. Those conversations happen. Possibly, because it remains to be seen, with the new faces coming on board, that will change.
Senator, this for you and the governor as well. Do you think these changes are enough to create a sense in Springfield that this is worth investing in bringing state funds to Chicago State? It's been a political football in the past. With new leadership on the board, do you think more money will be headed this way in the same direction?
Oh, sure. Because we in Springfield, 177 of us in the legislature, we realize that Chicago State is just a part of the institution of higher education. Eastern Illinois and Western Illinois are going up under the same challenges that Chicago State is. We may be the face, but these problems are there. And those are represented by Republican legislators. So I've had the honor of working with Senator Rose, who has Western in his community, and the other leaders in getting things done. So yes, this is just part of what we need to start working in a bipartisan way. What happens here, certainly we hope will happen in the other schools that are at risk as well.
May I say something, please? Let me just say this in defense of this college. What you need to understand in regards of the so-called failure, what this college has done has taken the rejects. The other universities has said, no, you don't qualify, and so therefore. But this university has taken on the tough ones, not the easy ones, and they've made them who and what they are today. They made them tax contributors. And so if we were to invest into this university the same way that we've invested into other universities, you will have a better outcome. What this university needs to do is to be more aggressive, getting into the schools, making sure the teachers at the secondary level and the primary level is doing what all the things that they're supposed to do in order to get these children ready to not only to go to this institution, but others. Because there was a report out that says that the state of Illinois had failed the children of this state, not Chicago State University. It says the state of Illinois. It says that we lived in two Illinois, one for the have and one for the have-nots. This will close that gap. It would allow the other students who are being rejected because of their grade point average, because of their inept schools, and we know the type of schools that most minority children have to go to. We know the problems that's in their school, but we're going to try to move forward with this school and this institution.
Mr. Vallas, there is a suggestion, at least editorially, that this university might be better off absorbed by the University of Illinois Chicago. What are your thoughts generally on that? Is that something that should be explored, at least moving forward?
Well, first of all, when the governor invited me to join the board, he did it with the intent of not turning Chicago State University over to a larger university system. I believe, quite frankly, that this university has the capacity to grow itself out of its problems. Its campus, it's the fact that so many programs are under enrollment. There's creative ways that you can, the creative strategic partnerships that you can engage in, that you can develop, that will give the university capacity to provide actually enhanced and broader educational services that can help the university balloon its enrollment, get the enrollment up to 8,000, and in fact grow itself out of its problems. So I'm just very optimistic that that can happen. I'm joining the board with the intent of not only preserving and maintaining Chicago State as an independent university, but also to working with the community and the incoming board members to transform it into the dynamic university that the community needs to move forward. This was the governor's message to me. We're going to keep Chicago State open, and we're going to transform it. And, you know, let me just say something with respects to the existing board members. Reverend Hatch is I mean, he's only been on the board a year and a half. The acting president, the interim president, is a new arrival to the leadership positions. So many of the individuals are new, and I look forward to working with them in a really constructive way to move the university forward. I am really optimistic based on what I've seen. Universities of comparable size in terms of physical size, universities that have served similar populations, that in short order this university can move forward dramatically, and I would not have taken the job otherwise. Thank you.
Any parallels between Chicago State University and your early days at CPS?
Well, this university is really a microcosm of some of the issues that we face with CPS in the old days, so to speak. And I appreciate the governor and wanting the board to get younger and appointing people like me to the board. So I appreciate that. It'll be the last time I'll be referred to as kind of adding youth to and vibrancy to the board. But that's an interesting question. I mean, there are parallels in terms of the universities being in financial crisis, obviously the poor academic performance, the fact that the Chicago Public Schools in 1995 had experienced over a decade of declining enrollment. Remember, they went from 514,000 students to 404,000. What happened 6 years later? They not only had balanced budgets, but they had massive budget reserves, 12 bond rating upgrades, and they had 30,000 more students. Now, this university is a fraction of the size of Chicago State, but I'm very optimistic that we can achieve the same type of success. We can bring long-term financial stability to the school. We can dramatically expand the school. I mean, look what IIT has done in its community. Look at the significant improvements that you've seen and the gains that you've seen in National Louis University. What are they? What's their enrollment now? I think it's over like 7,000. They have a 78% success rate with their incoming freshmen. So, this is not, as your boss and mine used to say, it's not rocket science. And so I'm very, very optimistic with the leadership that exists within the university and the new leadership that's being brought in, not only in terms of the new board of trustees, but also with Tony Anderson and the advisory board, and with the governor's, protection and support. We're going to move the university forward, and we're going to do it in short order.
Don't you need a state budget to be able to come up with that long-term plan?
So let's talk about that question of the budget, and it gets to your question, which we didn't finish. It is essential that we get a balanced budget done, not a stopgap spending plan, not a incomplete, short-term, unbalanced spending plan. We need balanced budgets in this state. I know it's hard. It's culturally hard because I can't find when we've ever had balanced budgets. So it's hard culturally to bring that to bear in the General Assembly, but we've got to do it. We are on an unsustainable path in our spending. We need balanced budgets. And let's be clear, to think that we can only raise taxes to solve the problem, not possible. And you can just look at New Jersey and Connecticut and many other states who've left their structural problems in place. They've already put in the high graduated income tax. They've already got the highest tax burdens in America. Ours is fifth highest. They've got even higher. They can't balance their budgets and they can't pay their pensions. We need structural change to the system. We can't keep doing what we're doing. We need balanced budgets, structural change, and I applaud the senators, some of whom are here today, for trying to negotiate right now on a bipartisan basis to get a balanced budget and some structural changes to the system. I applaud them. I'm cheering them on, staying out of it, letting them come up to see what they can recommend. But we need to go in a different direction. One of the places that we need to put more money is into our university system and into Chicago State, and I'm an advocate for that. And we will get that done. We will find a way to do it. While we do that, we also need to look at the rational management of our university system. We have a lot of redundancy. We have a lot of overlap. We have a lot of inefficiency. And we have a lot of a bureaucratic bloat, to use that term, in our university system. Chicago State has suffered from it, but virtually all of our university system has suffered from it. The money needs to be in the classroom with the teachers and the students. That's where the money needs to go, not into overhead. Our university system has tremendous amount of overhead. And we've allowed, in Illinois, we've made a mistake. Other states have done a better job. They've sort of broken their university system away from the state and let them run themselves and be a little bit more independent. In Illinois, we've almost sort of sucked our university system in, and they're almost like state agencies. That's a mistake. The state government is not well run, and having the universities run like the state is not the answer. The pensions are broken. The work rules, the structure, the bureaucratic inertia, unaffordable and unsustainable, and we've got to change that while bringing more resources to the university system. So this is going to take a lot of work, but that's why I'm so excited. Chicago State now has, in my opinion, and I've been a team builder for 35 years and helped put boards together and recruited management teams. Chicago State now is some of the strongest leadership team of any organization that I know of in the state of Illinois. These are A-plus individuals coming to help Chicago State thrive and bring the maximum benefit to the students and the community and the neighborhoods that this institution serves.
Last question.
Can I ask a simple question? Perhaps, Governor, you can tackle it, and then maybe some of the other folks. I live a couple of miles from here, and I'll tell you, as many people know, promising students of every color don't consider this a viable place to attend. And of all the damage that's been done here, maybe the biggest and worst has been in the minds of parents and students and prospective students. They don't send their kids here. When you look at the enrollment, how does that change? That's not something you're going to change overnight.
Well, I'll let others weigh in with their opinions. I think it can change fairly quickly. Paul referenced this, and I've done turnarounds in my life. He's done some, others here. The important changes can be made fairly promptly, and the message can begin to get out that it's a new day for Chicago State, and come here and get a quality education at an affordable price. We can do this. This isn't a 10-year turnaround. This can be done pretty expeditiously. Anybody else wants to weigh in?
I would just like to say that this past Saturday, we ran into a couple of young people, and the reason why they think that quite frankly, they think that the school is closing. And the reason why they think that is because that's what the media and others project. But if we want this school to be viable, Like the kids, the young people that have graduated already, they know different. They know that they graduated with less debt, they have an excellent education, and they have a great career. We need to go into the schools, like I said earlier, to make sure that the teachers are teaching properly. There needs to be that relationship. We cannot be an island on our own. And we have to go and be aggressive about recruiting and bringing students in to this school. And once we do that, we will be successful because it will be word of mouth, just like any other schools. The pitch is the board members and what we do here. You know, building up the basketball team, having a daycare. There used to be, I funded a daycare here years ago. I had a program here years ago, and it was teaching the 7th and the 8th graders to be prepared. So you introduce them the same way the University of Illinois. I had a program at University of Illinois called Career Awareness in the Health Profession. You bring the young people onto the campus by way of various summer programs.
Let me share. Let me just say this, that I came to the work at Chicago State. My base predominantly is on the west side. I can tell you there are folks walking around the west side who do not even know we exist. I met Bruce, we were working in our charter high school, and I served on the board, the founding board of the Christ the King Jesuit College Prep out on the west side, $30 million brand new campus. We got our 5th graduating class teed up, building a culture of academic rigor. And I can tell you, if you look all across the city, all of these schools who have as their mission college prep, meaning that they're supposed to prepare young people to go into college, many of them out of these neighborhoods. That is a natural feeder system right in our midst. The high schools in Chicago, some of them, again, who have as their focus literally 100% of their students being accepted into a four-year college or university. And so we not only can turn this institution around, but I mean, with the team that has been assembled, we will. We will. And I just think that if we look at it all together, and I want to commend the governor and his team, and I want to commend these state legislators who are here today. If you look at what we're doing, this is unprecedented, the kind of talent that has been assembled, including the advisory board. A former president of Morehouse College will tell you ultimately where we're trying to go. And so I think that the point is, when we become focused, when we get a message out of here that is clear, once it becomes clear, and it should be today, I don't think Paul Vallas came to fail, that this school is going to succeed, that we're open for good, and that there is going to be bipartisan cooperation in making sure this institution, above politics, gets all that we need. And some of us are always interested when people who have resources act as if resources don't matter. This institution has been resource starved. And so I think that this part of this turnaround today suggests that the resources are going to be available, the will is there, and so that you will see in the coming days a new narrative going forth for Chicago State University.
And I just say, if I could just say that Chicago State is a safe, affordable university. Coming from the west side, the Austin community, I would encourage individuals to know that coming on this campus, you have your own security, and you will be safe. And the homeless population amongst youth and the college people is very high. This institution has a safe, affordable housing facility.
When will the Board of Trustees
Thank you.
appoint a chair?
Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you very much.
All right, good too.
Thank you.